Now, make sure you got the right side up. You should see the muscle in the back, and then the bony prominence in the front. So your Adam's apple is going to be up top. Close your eyes and actually get a good feel of it, because you guys are going to be doing this through skin, soft tissue, and all the other crap that's in the way of you finding the right spot.
Is it right in that little gap?
You come up, that's why stabilize, and then you feel bump, soft.
Yeah, that's a really small spot though.
Yeah, it is. Wow.
It's done it how many times?
It's deceptive, isn't it?
That's scary. Scary.
All right, everybody got a good feel for it? If you don't, that's fine. I'm going to do the demonstration up here, and I'm going to come in between. We'll see if you guys got the right spot. We're going to use, guys, real important, this part, because I don't want you to waste the cut on the top. We're going to use the top for the second part. I just want you to get a good feel of it first. We're going to do, the first part is really just for demonstration purposes. So your angiocath, that's a 14 gauge. Pop it somewhere in the southern aspect of that trachea. I don't care if you're going north or south. This is more for feel. This is purely for feel. So angiocath goes in. You'll see how much pressure it takes to actually get through. Slide your angiocath off. It's a pretty good pop, huh?
Yeah.
So imagine doing that through tissue. You take your 3 cc syringe and attach the 3 cc syringe to that. There it is. Always gets lost. Take your adapter off of the ET tube, and that should fit right inside your 3 cc syringe. That's going to be your easiest, in my opinion, setup to do a needle cric in the field. And you just attach your bag mask to that. Now, appropriately, you would do that through the same spot that we're going to do the actual cric, but I don't want to ruin the cric part. I want you to actually cut them. Easiest thing to see. But get yourself set up. So you want that adapter back on your 7.0 ET tube, and I'm going to tell you guys now it's going to be very, very difficult to get a 7.0 through these pigs. These are small pigs. But if you're unlucky enough to call me for command and I'm walking you through it, this is exactly how you're going to hear me tell you to do it. So what I do, guys, I have middle finger and thumb, and that's what's going to stabilize my landmarks. Okay? Everybody got it? Anybody not have it? And then I'm going to use my finger, totally blind. I mean, I could have that anywhere. I'm going to find the ridge up top, so cricothyroid membrane is going to be right below that. Bump, cricothyroid membrane, thyroid. So you should feel a bump and then a soft piece of springy tissue. If you can't find it on the pig, find it on yourself. We just won't cut you, I promise. I'm tempted. All right, everybody got that? If you were doing a real cric, what you would be doing now is making an incision from top to bottom. Most people go too high, and you see people who have cuts all the way up here. You've got hellaciously large amounts of blood vessels up here. You want to be south. If you're afraid, cut south to north. That's fine. But you're going to make a big sizable cut in that person. The person will bleed like stink. Bleeding is normal. They will not die from the bleeding. You may need to suction it away, but in reality, everything's tactile. Close your eyes and do the procedure at that point. So you've cut the skin away. Forgive me, let me see if I can do this with greasy pig hands. Yeah, get your scalpels out. Now remember, these are 15 blades. Ideally, we'd use 11s, but that's fine. And get your bougie ready. That way, ideally, we would call that part the preparatory phase. If you were drawing lines on your patient, you would. These are also anesthesia bougies. Anesthesiologists are always trying to compensate for something, so these bougies are bigger than the bougies that we have in EMS. I've got too many friends in anesthesia. They're not going to like that. All right. So for people who haven't used a bougie before, hockey stick at the end is going to be the end that you pass through the cords if you're using it for intubation. Don't feed it in the tube yet. It's good to know how. I mean, it's fine as long as you don't want to do that way. I'll explain why. So the hockey stick's going to go down, and that little feeler, that's going to be your best friend. I'm going to go feel for those landmarks again. And you get the idea that this thing is going to be going pretty quickly in real life. All right, index finger, we're going to get the index finger out of the way. I'm going to use that for stabilization. I've already made my top to bottom incision, right? So we've cut through that way just for I've refelt. I'm going to bluntly dissect. So that means move the tissue out of the way. If I have to cut more because there's a lot of subcutaneous fat, I'm going to do that. Once you know that you're in the right place, it's a plunge cut. Plunge cut in. Okay? You're going to go right through the cricothyroid membrane. Now make sure your fingers are out of the way, but you're going to cut towards you, and you're going to flip the knife and cut away from you. Now that knife away from you means the blade shouldn't be there, right? The blade should not be going near your finger. Get the blade out, don't cut yourself, and you're going to put your finger right in that hole. Your finger is now your place mark. So you should be able to feel north, there's nothing there, south, you can kind of feel your fingertip, there's nothing there. You do not want to take your finger out of that hole. That's what's keeping the trachea in line, that's what's keeping that hole open. And you're going to take the bougie, and you're going to slide it past your finger. And the bougie should move south. Now with pigs it's great because what can we see? We can see it coming out of the southern end. We know we're in the right spot. With a human we're not quite as lucky, but what you will feel with the bougie and that tip is you will feel little speed bumps as you go through. You'll feel the of the rings of the trachea, which you can feel from the outside. Right, the pucker effect at this point is pretty much over. I've got a hole in the neck. I know that I'm in the right spot. I use my finger to hold the spot for me. I've used the bougie now to get that in. And now we're stable. We're good. Now remember, this part's going to be difficult because it's a 7/0 tube and a really small pig, but we're going to feed that right over our bougie. Make sure you don't push that all the way in. And we're going to feed the tube in and then remove the bougie. Ideally, Porky will look something like this. It's not, it may be this hard on a person. These pig tracheas, if you hold it up to me, it's probably about the same size. I've been called a pig in a lot of other contexts, so this one it's not too bad. You're going to inflate your balloon the same way you would inflate your balloon. If you're in the right main stem, I'll take a right main stem over no main stem. Much like any other impaled object that you guys are transporting with, you are going to secure this thing in 16 different ways. Throw color metric, throw end title on, whatever you have, and then beat feet to the hospital.